Gone are the days when dull history lessons put you to sleep. Captivating visuals breathe new life into the tales of yesteryears. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the trust-tested channel. After that, leave us a comment on what other stories you would like to hear about. This is a photograph of Lee Miller in Hitler's bathtub in his apartment, coincidentally being the same day of Hitler's suicide. Miller admitted that after taking this picture, she took a bath and slept in Hitler's bed. Miller was a model who quit to pursue a career in photojournalism as a war photographer for Vogue as World War II broke out. She utilized surrealism photography of the war, with the aim of providing context to events that were occurring. Although in present day people spend great money to make their teeth whitened, this was not always the case. In areas such as Japan and China, wealthy women would blacken their teeth to show their status. They used a technique called lacquering, which acted as a sealant and prevented tooth decay. This was in tradition for hundreds of years, and still live in some areas to this day. However, the rise in Western beauty standards during the colonial era led this tradition to fade. In 1954, Marilyn Monroe entertained over 100,000 American troops in Korea during an organized show titled Anything Goes. The tour helped her overcome stage fright and became a transformative experience, with Monroe stating it was the best thing for her. Despite a delayed show and threats of a riot, the troops adored her, especially during a performance in a baggy army uniform. Monroe's trip occurred during her honeymoon in Japan with Joe DiMaggio, who opted not to join her in Korea, signaling early strains in their marriage that ended in divorce later that year. Bonnie Parker, famed as one half of the infamous duo Bonnie and Clyde, was a notorious American outlaw during the Great Depression. As a member of a gang responsible for a series of robberies and murders across the United States, Bonnie's role as a potential shooter remains uncertain. However, her image as a seductive, gun-toting criminal was cemented by a famous photo of her with a cigar in her mouth and a gun in hand, a provocative depiction for a woman of that era. Additionally, the public was fascinated by the fact that Bonnie and Clyde were both young and not married, adding to their controversial allure. In 1972, Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571, carrying 45 people, including a rugby team, crashed in the Andes Mountains. After search efforts were called off, survivors faced starvation and extreme cold. With no rescue in sight, they resorted to cannibalism for survival. Battling avalanches and harsh conditions for 72 days, 16 were eventually rescued. The survivors waited 2 months for help, forced to eat the raw flesh of the deceased passengers, as seen in a photo showing a cannibalized spine. The electric chair was first utilized in 1890, and subsequently became known as a symbol of this method of execution. The electric chair has been closely associated with the history of capital punishment in the United States, and has also been utilized for a significant period in the Philippines. Saint Bartholomew, who was an early Christian, is believed to have been skinned alive for his faith. In the sculpture, he's not holding a robe. It's actually his own skin. Created by an artist named Marco da Grate in 1562, the statue is in Duomo di Milano. It shows detailed muscles, veins, and tendons, making it both a religious symbol and a way for people in the Renaissance era to explore how the human body works. Saint Bartholomew traveled to the east and later to Greater Armenia. According to traditional hagiography, he faced a gruesome fate, being skinned and beheaded for converting the king to Christianity. So, which of these stories surprised you? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also comment down below if this video was helpful.